Imagine a battlefield. Not one with soldiers, but with machines. Machines that decide who lives and who dies. This isn't science fiction. This is the terrifying reality of autonomous weapons. These weapons, powered by artificial intelligence, can identify, target, and kill without human intervention. This is not about making war more humane. This is about making killing easier, faster, and more distant. The development of autonomous weapons marks a dangerous turning point in human history. Like nuclear weapons before them, they have the potential to unleash unimaginable destruction. But unlike nuclear weapons, autonomous weapons are far easier to produce and distribute. This makes them accessible not only to states, but also to terrorist organizations and rogue actors. The consequences are chilling. The race to develop autonomous weapons is already underway. Nations are pouring billions into research and development, each striving for a technological edge. This new arms race threatens to destabilize the world, erode international norms, and make armed conflict more likely. We stand at a precipice. The choices we make today will determine the fate of humanity. A preemptive ban on autonomous weapons is not just desirable, it is essential. We must act now before this technology spirals out of control. A ban would send a clear message that some lines should never be crossed, that machines should never be given the power to decide who lives or dies. Opponents of a ban argue that autonomous weapons are more precise, that they can minimize civilian casualties. But this argument ignores the fundamental ethical dilemma, the delegation of life and death decisions to machines. Machines lack the empathy, judgment, and understanding of context that are essential for making such decisions. Furthermore, a ban would help prevent the proliferation of these weapons. It would make it more difficult for terrorist groups and other malicious actors to acquire them. A world without autonomous weapons is a safer world for all. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. In the face of this growing threat, some advocate for open-source safety protocols. The idea is simple yet radical. Make the code governing autonomous weapons open and accessible to all. This transparency, the argument goes, would allow for greater scrutiny and oversight. With open-source protocols, independent experts could identify vulnerabilities, flaws, and potential for misuse. It would also foster collaboration and information sharing, making it more difficult for malicious actors to operate in the shadows. In essence, open-source protocols could act as a global safety net, a way to collectively monitor and control these powerful technologies. However, open-source solutions are not without their critics. Some argue that they could backfire, providing a blueprint for rogue actors to develop even more lethal weapons. The effectiveness of open-source protocols ultimately hinges on widespread international cooperation and a shared commitment to transparency. Section 4, Safeguarding Humanity Analog Sanctuaries. As we venture further into the age of intelligent machines, it becomes increasingly important to preserve spaces free from their influence. Analog sanctuaries. These are places where human connection, creativity, and critical thinking are nurtured, where we can disconnect from the digital world and reconnect with our humanity. Think of libraries filled with books, not e-readers, parks where children play, not stare at screens, community centers buzzing with conversation, not virtual reality headsets. These analog sanctuaries would serve as a vital counterbalance to the increasing automation of our world. They would be places where we can remember what it means to be human, where we can cultivate the empathy, creativity, and critical thinking that will be essential for navigating the challenges of the 21st century. In a world increasingly dominated by algorithms, analog sanctuaries are not a luxury, they are a necessity. Section 5. Ethics first, code second. The rapid advance of artificial intelligence is outpacing our ability to understand its implications. We are rushing headlong into a future shaped by algorithms, often without considering the ethical implications. This is particularly true in the realm of autonomous weapons. We cannot simply focus on making these weapons more efficient, more precise, more deadly. We must also ask ourselves fundamental questions about the nature of war, the value of human life, and the role of technology in society. We need to teach ethics before we teach code, to instill in our engineers and developers a strong sense of moral responsibility. The future is not predetermined. It is shaped by the choices we make today. We must choose to prioritize human well-being over technological advancement to ensure that machines remain tools for good, not instruments of destruction. The algorithms are watching. Let us make them proud.